as we get in. On your left over here, please, would you take a torch and a hard hat, and as soon as you've done that, if you'd like to follow me down, we'll get you started. So the first part of our tour, normally we do it the opposite of chronologically, diachronically I think is the word. We talk about the experience of when this old Victorian tunnel was used as an air raid shelter in the Second War. First thing we'd point out to them are these two yellow patches that you see have been painted on the walls. These were gas warning patches put on in the Second War. If they turned a salmon pink, it would have meant there had been a poison gas attack. And probably by the time they turned salmon pink, it would be too late for you. You'd be dead, even if you had managed to get your mask on. We'd mentioned something about the lighting. The tunnel, you see, was open 24 hours a day, and people used it as a thoroughfare to go up into the city centre. So there was lighting all the time. And we've preserved in two sections the original 1940s lighting that you see here. You'll also notice, though not just where I'm standing, there will be hooks in the wall for the hanging of hurricane lamps, emergency lighting, because no doubt the electricity failed from time to time. As you probably also know, however, Tyneside suffered nothing like the bombing damage of your Liverpools and your Coventrys and your Londons. There were raids, of course, on Newcastle, I think 56. Although interestingly enough, after December 41, there were no air raids on Newcastle itself. So why did people spend long hours, however, down here? Well, the reason is that the German bombers used the River Tyne as a navigational aid, usually heading westwards towards perhaps Liverpool, Manchester, certainly Glasgow, Belfast. They would fly across in waves, do their horrible work, and then hours later would fly back over. So there's the lighting. It's very fragile now. And there it is from 1940. I should have mentioned that these blast walls, well, the purpose of a blast wall is to reduce the power of an explosion. Without these walls, a bomb blast would be completely free to travel a mile, 2 miles up the tunnel. And I think the effect of a blast with the huge air pressure travelling very fast is to suck the air out of your body, and your lungs and heart would collapse. However, as we go through the next bit, it's not a good idea to get the reddish or brownish stuff. All it is iron oxide, rusts from the rails still above your head. But I wouldn't get on your clothes or your skin. We're now we're below Dorset Street, quite a long way below, about 55 feet below it. Dorset Street still exists, but the houses during the war have been pulled down. Well, we're standing just below a tragedy, because it was here in late May 1941 that the tragedy took place. At the beginning of May, there had been quite a heavy bombing attack on Newcastle itself, and bombs had fallen just above our heads. One of the bombs had fallen and made a crater, quite a deep crater in the ground. Immediately after the first bomb fell, the second bomb fell, demolishing the gable end of a house. And the bricks collapsed and hid the entrance of the original crater from the first bomb blast. So it wasn't obvious that there was a hole under the brickwork. 2 weeks, 3 weeks went by, quite a lot of rain had fallen, and a little girl was out playing, I don't know. The ground had not been cordoned off, which it should have been. And guess what? As she ran over the hole, the entrance of the hole, it collapsed and she fell down into the bomb crater. We actually know her name, Irene Page, 7 years of age. Well, she disappeared. The local housewives panicked, I suppose. And a few minutes later, another little boy came along, Ernie Smith, 12. brave little lad, a plucky little lad, because he went down with the help of a couple of clotheslines down into this smelly bomb crater to try to rescue Irene, who was by now silent. He didn't come out. 2 off-duty firefighters came along a few minutes later, and they also went down into the hole to rescue the children. Well, I'm afraid, ladies and gentlemen, that all 4 came out, but they had already entered the next world. Do you all speak Geordie?
Yeah.
Well, you see, they had a poem commissioned. The tunnel's 2 miles, and it's strange for to tell, but 20 full wagons will travel on it well, with men for to break them. They travel doing so clever that in less than 6 minutes they're doing to the river. Now, it's not quite Shakespearean in its eloquence, but it's not too bad, is it? And they got, I guess, probably a good mile into the tunnel, checking, when they heard something they didn't really want.
No doubt people watching this will want to know how to book onto the tour. So
it's very easy indeed. It's very easy indeed. Online is probably the easiest, or telephone, but it's very popular. So as far as possible, book as far ahead as you can.